So, I haven't shared a video in a little while, and there's been a pretty good reason for that. Between the move and just sorting out really where I am, I haven't really had the right words, but I've been doing a lot of processing and a lot of different kinds of Jesus work through, I guess you could call it, instead, and it's been a really cool blessing. It's been a really quiet time. I haven't really gotten into the Bible as much as I had before, but that's okay, you know. Jesus is still good, and we're still kingdom children in that. Definitely, there's just been a lot that's been going on for sure for me, really exciting things, a lot of new things, but Jesus is just constantly working. He's just so good, and he's been having me really work my writing and my journaling and my spoken words, so we have a few of those in progress, so we'll see when I get those actually out. Excuse me. But I'm just super excited to be back here in front of the camera with you guys, and feel like the Lord really has a powerful message tonight. I shared it with someone earlier, and it was really well received, and that kind of gave me the courage that Jesus really does want this message. And then I just finished watching this film, and you know, as some films need to be, they need to be fast forwarded. But when you got past those certain parts, the message was just so beautifully profound and so true to what the Lord has been teaching me. And just the fact that our perception of ourselves is often very skewed. We often have a very misperception, or however that word is, you know. We don't get it right. Jesus sees us in a way that we can't even possibly fathom or imagine. And we are so caught up in these images and these perceptions and these lies that we are told and shown and treated through. And it usually starts at a young age. I'm talking mostly to young women. And you know, when I say young women, I mean all women, because Jesus sees them as young and beautiful. So that's why I say young women. But, so men, this message is not particularly for you, but it is important that you do listen as well. So you do hear this message that women have to say, you know. I'm just one woman saying this message that's been said so many times, but it's something that I've really struggled with, and something that's really been a big part of my story, honestly. My life has been so shaped by those around me that tell me what I look like, and how I should act, and how I should behave, and what is okay and what isn't. And in the end, I have this rule book of 100+ rules, and this line I need to walk that's so thin that should I step outside of it? Well, for most guys that I've known, it was always punishment of some form or other. But I'm lately learning that that's not true, you know, that perception is all skewed and it's all wrong, and the world's not per se out to get me, you know. Jesus loves me, but he's not the only one that can love me as I am, you know. I mean, having a wonderful Christian brothers in your life and wonderful people in your life can show you something so different. And I'm really learning that, and it's been a journey. It's been really super exciting. But it's been a hard journey too, because these lies are so ingrained into my very foundation and who I am. I mean, just film I watched, it was about this young woman, and she's heavier set. She's very beautiful, but she is heavier set. And it's this perception that she wants to be beautiful. And her desire to be beautiful is to be thin, is to look a certain way. And she falls and hits her head. And in the process, she wakes up and sees herself as this thin, beautiful woman. And she lives her life as this, thinking that she is this person. And in fact, she's never changed on the outside. Her perception was so skewed. What she wanted to believe, she was able to believe through this crazy causation of hitting her head, you know. She had this crazy idea, and so she lived her life that way. But then she hit her head again, and her whole perception was back to the way it was. Oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I don't look this way, I'm not beautiful, oh my goodness, don't look at me, you know, all this stuff. It's like, look at who I was here, look who I'm there. And then she stopped, and she looked at the two pictures, and she realized, wait, that person is me. That person is me. It's the same me. And it was such a beautiful representation of how many times do we go, I want to look like that. I want to be like that. But the world is telling us we look like that we should act like that, we should be like that. It doesn't matter how we look. It matters what's inside. And in that moment when she realized who she was inside and how much the Lord loved her, well, it wasn't a Christian film, but you know, how much others around her loved her, and that perception, she realized then it didn't matter what the world saw or what she saw. What mattered was who she was inside, and that never changed. But she really found her confidence and her beauty by perceiving this false lie. But then she was able to keep it by seeing herself then as, you know, this beautiful, heavier-set woman. And it was just such a beautiful portrayal of how often we are misled. And that moment that she realized it, she totally did a total turnaround and started living her life the same way, but in a kinder, more compassionate, more loving manner. And she was able to regain back what she lost through losing herself with the world's perception of what beautiful looked like. And she was able to really find her place and really speak out. And my journey is not that way, you know. If you can't tell, I am a smaller type of woman. I look a certain way. And I've gotten a lot through my life that, wow, that must be so wonderful. Wow, you know, you're beautiful, or, you know, the cat calls, the whistles, and all that stuff, or, you know, guys kind of vying for attention. And it sounds great. But until you're that person that's in those shoes, you know, the words beautiful start to not even mean anything because they're so misused. People started focusing so much on what it looked like that they never saw my heart. And the situations I ended up in, no one saw my heart. No one saw who I was inside. They saw what they wanted to see, and that was enough. But they didn't care who I was. They didn't care about my heart. They shut my heart down. And if my heart started to show, I was punished for that. I was really cruelly punished for showing who I really was, and for being who I tried to be. Anytime I tried to get out of my shell, I was punished for it. I was supposed to be this, you know, beautiful young model-like woman and, you know, be desired. That was my existence in a lot of people's eyes. And that's a harsh reality people don't realize, is whether you're smaller or more heavy set or in the middle, whether you're tall or short, you can't let people you can't let people tell you who you are and what you look like. It doesn't matter. My burden is the same as your burden if you're on this end. You know, whether you look this way or look that way, our burdens are the same. Our stories are different. The way we're treated might be different. But our burdens are pretty similar. And people don't realize that. I had to carry a huge, heavy burden my whole life because I looked a certain way. When I was a baby, I didn't say I wanted to look this way. But I was gifted this way. I didn't have a choice. God made me this way. And I held a lot of shame towards it because I always be like, get so upset when people be like, oh, you're so skinny, oh, you're this. And it's like, but you don't know what I've gone through. But I'd be looking this way. You know, it's not a praiseworthy thing. It's been so shame-filled. I mean, I still struggle with insecurities. I still struggle with depression. I still struggle with anxiety. I still struggle with PTSD. I still struggle with weight. Like, I was pretty much anorexic when I was in high school. I could turn my appetite on and off in a switch. I was about 100 pounds, and I thought that was great. I looked this way, and I thought 100 pounds was great. 100 pounds for me is kind of dangerous low. It's not something to be fooled around with. But I struggle with the same things that someone on the other end of the spectrum struggled with. Now I struggle with different things. My story's not the same. But I struggled still. And a lot of people don't realize that. Because in this movie even, this this young woman who's dealing with this aspect of beauty, she's talking to this woman who looks so much like me. And she's like, guys don't dump you. You know, she's like, wait, you got dumped? Like, that's unheard of. Like, oh wait, that guy's asking for your number in the store? And she's just baffled by this, that these kind of things happen to someone, you know, and it doesn't happen to her. But she doesn't realize that there's a burden on both ends. Whether you're ignored because you're heavier, or you're overly too much attention because you're smaller, you know, there's a burden on both ends. But the thing is, God didn't make us kingdom children to be burdened. He didn't make us kingdom children to be shame-filled, to struggle with these insecurities. He didn't make this world and say, Eve is going to struggle with this. Eve is going to look this way. And the world's going to, you know, point fingers and judge her for it. No, he made Eve and he said she was beautiful. He made Eve and said that she was beautiful. And he saw Eve. And he let Adam in that garden see Eve through his eyes. How many of us see through God's eyes? How many of us look at women and see through God's eyes? I can tell you that I've struggled with different things, but one thing that God's always given me is the rare gift of seeing through his eyes. And now, oftentimes it can get clouded by lies. But I see women as very beautiful. I see that they're positives. I see, you know, their attractiveness. I see what makes them beautiful. And I can look at them and be like, they're beautiful. It doesn't matter how they actually look in the physical form. But I've always been able to see through God's eyes and see them as beautiful. Now, am I the one that's going to run up and tell them they're beautiful? That's still a work in progress. It's something I really want to work on. Because it's very important. It's important to affirm and tell young women that they're beautiful. That, you know, the positive aspects of why they're beautiful. You have a beautiful smile. You have beautiful eyes. Your face just lights up when you enter the room. You know, I love the way you do this. I want to be that kind of person that gets there. But I'm not there yet. But I just really want to speak to the message that, like, how the world judges you, young woman, it's not right. It's not accurate. It's a journey to get back from there, because when we're little children, we're given Barbie dolls and men are given toy trucks. Let me tell you, if I had a choice between a toy truck and a Barbie doll, I'd choose a toy truck. Not because I'm tomboyish, but simply because that's where my interest more lies. I like to see the mechanics. I like to see how the wheels turn. I like to see how the levers work. I'm not science-minded, but I'm curious. I'm inquisitive. What's the word? Not crafty, but creative. You know, maybe I want to take it apart. Maybe I want to push some things, see how it works and operates. But you know what? Here I'm given a Barbie doll and I'm told to play dress up and put some clothes on it and play house. Find, you know, here's Ken doll and here's Barbie. But that's not where I am, you know. I grew up with Barbies. But if you caught me playing in my room when I was a child, I was playing more with my little miniature dogs or my horses. And for the reasoning is because my mind can go any which direction. I could have a dog show. I could have a dog pound. You know, I could go with my dog's playhouse. You know, there was just so much more room for freedom. I mean, I was more likely to play with farm animals and items of that sort. Like, I was always in my grandma's craft drawer, always in it, pulling out things, putting things together, just imagining and seeing what I could come up with. But when you're a little girl, that's not praised. It's not common. Our curiosity is dumbed. Our curiosity is, you know, silenced. Our questions, you know, are unheard. And we're told that this is the way it's supposed to be. But guys can be creative. Guys can mess with things. They can play with things. They can see how things operate and work. Because mechanics and that sort of thing, that's guys' section. You know, and girls are over here playing house and cutesy stuff. Now, thankfully, the world is slowly shifting, and there's a lot more freedom. But for many of us, even as young women and adults now, we still struggle with the way we were raised. we still struggle with that mentality that we are working twice as hard to get up to meet a man's world. I mean, at a point, I worked really hard to try to be in a man's world in insurance. Sounds crazy. I was there a couple months, and I'm not being all what God wanted me for me, but it showed me so much, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for that experience, but it was hard. It was hard to be under a man's thumb in a corporate office and having a partner who I appreciated greatly. He was a good friend. But having a partner who was so critical and basically told me all that needs to change. You're a woman. You need to handshake a certain way. You need to dress a certain way. What in the world are you wearing? Like, criticisms every single day. And I told myself I could be better. I told myself I could do this job. I pushed myself and tried to form myself into something and somebody that I never was. But because I was a woman, I had to act and be a certain way. All this was wrong. You know, I couldn't just wake up and go to work in a suit. I had to make sure everything matched perfectly. I had to make sure my hair was a certain way. I wore the right shoes. Oh my goodness, if they were scuffed. And all these criticisms. And I really tried, but it wasn't for me. And the Lord took me out of there and gave me a job where I can really bless and give back to people and be myself. I'm wearing jeans again. Sounds crazy, but I lost the love of jeans. Like, that's just a simple thing. But the world tells you how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to be. You know, designer clothes, wear this, wear that. Sweatshirts and jeans, I'm perfectly comfy. Start layering up, I'm good, you know. But I lost that over time. Because I listened to the world. I listened to what those men over there told me I looked like, told me how I should behave, what line I should walk, how I should be. And I lost myself. And the Lord showed me a really beautiful but heartbreaking image. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of the young woman being stoned for her crimes. And Jesus is sitting in the dirt, just drawing, and he calls out the accusers and asks them, which one of you have not sinned at all? Paraphrasing, of course. And it's one of my most favorite ones, but tonight Jesus really highlighted the young woman, and he showed me basically the image of Jesus still sitting there right in the dirt. The accusers are gone. And there I am as that young woman, still standing there, never leaving that spot, waiting to still be accused, waiting for those stones to be thrown at me. That is a very heartbreaking image, because I know I'm not alone. I see it right here in my mind's eye, my spiritual eye right now. The fact that I am not the only woman that's standing there waiting to be stoned, waiting to be told our crime, what is wrong with us. There's millions of women right now that are standing there. They don't know God's grace. I'm learning God's grace. I know God's grace. Now do I need to pull up my hand and say, okay, Jesus, lead me out of this circle that I've created so I can walk away from this? Yes. And I need to really learn how to do that, because I want to walk out of there, and I want pure freedom, and I want to be myself. And I don't want no more lines and no more boundaries, no more fear. It's not cool to live in fear. Not cool to live in a worldly lie of fear. But there are millions of women still there. Many millions of women stuck in a prison there, if you want to think about it. They've created themselves this shield and this image that these men are still there ready to accuse and throw stones and point fingers and judge. And I just want to run back, because Jesus took me out of that tonight technically, and I just want to run back and grab those women and just pull them out. And I just feel this strong call that the Lord really, really wants me to really work with young women. And I've always felt it. And I know my story is a very powerful one that can help a lot of young women through their struggles. But that was really, really shown to me tonight. And there was actually something I saw when I was on my Facebook. I ended up joining this new group, and this young woman, I don't know who she is, I'm not going to say, but she simply said, I just got out of this such and such situation. I don't know how to pray. help me. And my heart just broke because this woman believes that because she can't hear God's voice right now in this moment, the world has told her because you can't hear God's voice, he's not there. I instantly ran basically to the messaging, and I told her that it is okay to be where you are. It is okay to not hear God's voice. We are told that we need to hear God's voice. Yes, it's great to hear God's voice, but we don't have to hear God's voice because he's already right there. When our feet are too weary to continue this journey, the Lord is right there to lift us up and carry us until we are strong enough to continue on. When we can't hear the Lord, he is right there in front of us. He is blockading those weapons from us. People don't realize it, but just because you cannot hear God's voice in a dire situation, in a hard situation, in a moment of fear, if you're fearful, it's not a sin. Do you need to stay in fear? No, but it's not a sin. The world and the church preaches it. I lived in this world where I was told to fear is sin. To fear is not good, but it is not sin to fear because we have Jesus to pull us out of that fear. It is a sin and is wrong if we live in that fear and let it control us and cause us to sin, yes. But it is not a sin itself to not hear God's voice in that moment. If there is a whirlwind of a storm around you and you cannot hear God's voice, it does not mean he is not standing on that berm and he is yelling out into that wind and he is calming the storm in that process. You may not see him, you may not hear him, but it does not mean he is not there. And us young women really need to hear that. Because there's so many of us on the streets. There are so many of us walking in the dark. There are so many of us out there searching for a light. That light is already here, but we were so told that we need to strive and search and discern this light. It's already here, but we can't see it. Maybe we just need to reach out our arms and let God grab our hands. Maybe we just need to be still and let him come around and wrap his arms around us. Maybe we just need to just fall to our knees so God can carry us. We are kingdom children. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay to fall into this trap of who we're supposed to be. We don't need to stay there because we have a good Father and King who can pull us out and who loves us and who's going to get us through this. Young woman, you need to hear this message. You are loved. You are adored. You are beautiful and you are perfect the way you are. Bob Joe over there can say whatever crap he wants to say, you know? But it should not have to affect how we see Jesus or how he sees us or how we see ourselves. The world can scream at us. But we just need to wrap ourselves in a little box with Jesus right there in it. So all that just bounces right off. Because we know who we are. The world is going to fill our heads with lies. They're going to tell us how we're supposed to look. They're going to tell us if we're skinny, whether we're perfect or imperfect. They're going to tell us if we're heavyset, if we're perfect or imperfect, if we're in the middle, perfect or imperfect. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we look. It doesn't matter how we act. We're going to be wrong in the world's eyes. Everything we do is going to be wrong. That's just the world we live in, and it's hard, but it's the truth. But no matter how much the world tells us we are wrong, we are imperfect, we can't get nothing right, we do all this crap wrong, we have a Lord and Savior who says you are perfect, you are right, you are good, you are my daughter. We are daughters of the King. We are princesses. We don't need to live in a prostitute mindset because the world tells us these lies. We need to live in a Jesus-centered mindset. And we need to step outside of that box, outside of that square that we are waiting for our accusers to cast thrones. And we need to instead walk over to Jesus or let him come over to us. That is why I believe Jesus is sitting there writing in the dirt. He's not just doing it. He's doing it in a sense for the accusers. But he's doing it so he is non-threatening. It just came to me right now, but think about it. You're a young woman. You're standing being faced with stones. Do you want someone who's mighty and powerful to stand there next to you? That's really terrifying. It is. So Jesus gets down in the dirt, the low of the low. He gets down in a non-threatening position. And he doesn't look you in the face because you know eye contact makes you terrified. He's sitting there looking at the dirt, drawing in the dirt, totally saying through his body language, I am safe. I am okay. Trust me. You're going to be okay. Everything about his body language says, I am safe. And after those people walk away, did the woman turn to Jesus or did Jesus get up and go over to her? I think he stayed there and waited for her to come to him. Waited who knows how long until she realized, he's not going to hurt me. He's not going to hurt me and I'm okay. We need to stop seeing Jesus as someone who's going to hurt us. He's not out there to hurt us. He's out there to love us. And it may be a foreign concept to many of us, young women. But he's out there to love us. And he is in that non-threatening position, drawing in the sand, telling us he is safe. And we can trust him. The world is ready to throw stones. But Jesus is right there in the dirt, waiting for us to approach and say, okay, I'm willing to give this a try. I'm scared, but I'm willing to give this a try. And that's all he asks. And maybe we are not moving from that spot. And maybe he does need to get up and come over to us. And maybe he just needs to get up and move a little closer and then draw in the dirt some more. However it looks like, he is safe. He is a good God. And he loves us. It doesn't matter the sins. It doesn't matter what's been done to you. It doesn't matter what's been said about you. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what the world says or thinks or does towards you. Jesus loves you. And you are a kingdom child, so beautifully adored in his eyes. That's the message that we need to put on billboards. That's the message we need to hear over broadcasts. That's the message we need to hear in songs and see in movies. That's the message we need to tell little girls and young women. That's the message this world needs to hear. That's the message that needs to hit the streets and reach those women in the dark. That's the message we need to send out. Today. Not tomorrow, but today. Because young women are dying. Whether by their own hands or other hands or spiritually inside. Young women are dying. And that's not something to mess around with. It's time we, kingdom children, get up and go to them. Show them that we are safe. Show them how good a God he is. That they're safe. That they're loved. That they're okay. And that they can trust you. So this message is just as much for guys as this young woman. No young woman has probably ever gone through this world and not suffered from some type of cause of a worldly lie. I don't think there's one single woman who's unscathed. I don't think there's one woman who hasn't gone to church and have the preacher blame Eve for sinning first. I don't think there's one woman who's walked out her door and not worried whenever a man stops to look at her. I'm just being honest. I mean, I know my own experiences. I don't know yours. But I don't think there's one single woman that's left unscathed on this earth, sadly. And that's just speaking in America from what I know. I can't even imagine what some of these, what millions of women are going through in other countries right now. I can't even imagine it. I mean, I've only been out of the country once, and I've seen how hard that is for a woman there. I can't even imagine in other countries that I've even been to. This is a sad but true fact. But Jesus is right there, in the dark. When we can't pray, he's right there, holding us, drying our tears, comforting us, singing us a lullaby that only our ears can hear, showing us and taking us somewhere safe. And I know that's a hard message to speak on tonight, and maybe it was a little bit lengthy. I apologize, but I don't apologize. But that's what I felt like was on my heart, and I pray that you really feel challenged, and you really hear these words, and you really get moved by it, and really called to action. We are kingdom children. We cannot sit anymore. We need to act. We need to change this world. We need to start protecting the upcoming young women, the young women of today. We need to start protecting our children. We need to start protecting the vulnerable. And we need to start reminding people that it's okay. That it is okay to not be okay. That it is okay to not hear God's voice. That it is okay to cry. Guys, it's okay to cry. I think it's beautiful when I can be vulnerable and cry. You don't need to be always macho. It's the worldly lie. And I feel like we really need to start breaking off these lies. I really feel that strongly tonight that the Lord just wants to break these lies that the world's told us. But that's what I have tonight. And I love you, world. Virtual hugs. Have a good night.